Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Pulse of Fins Nation. I am your host Louis Sung, and we're going to be jumping right back into the social media world. We're not even going to talk about the fact that it's been months and months and months since my last episode. Oh boy. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on with the Miami Dolphins, not the least of which is the emergence of Tua Tagovailoa in the last couple of minutes against the New York Jets this past Sunday, as of this recording anyway. So, let's just get right into it and see what kind of debates that we can find in all the comments that you guys have been making, shall we? I'm not even a Dolphins fan, but the Dolphins are nuts if they start Tua over a healthy Fitzpatrick this year. Nice way to throw away a decent shot at the playoffs. Let Fitz go in the offseason and let Tua have a full preseason as the QB1. So yeah, essentially, this is kind of what I've been saying for the longest now, is that the Miami Dolphins have a very unique opportunity to allow Tua Tagovailoa to, for lack of a better term, sit in the slow cooker for a little while. He can just kind of sit back, relax, watch Fitzpatrick take the lumps that normally he would have been taking, and against this past week against the Jets, there were a lot of lumps to take. I swear, Greg Williams, don't throw Tua against Bounty Gate. It's not a good idea. Just don't do that right off the bat. But I digress. The best thing that the Miami Dolphins can do, in this individual's opinion, is that Fitzpatrick continues to start, and the season continues to progress with him taking all the lumps. Let his arm rest for after the bye week, see what happens after that. And if Fitzpatrick just absolutely falls off a cliff and he becomes the Fitzmagic, there are three tiers of Ryan Fitzpatrick. There is the Fitzmagic, which everybody loves. Then there's Ryan Fitzpatrick, which I say that's what we got against the New York Jets. And then there's Fitztragic, where he's just completely awful, there's no redeeming traits, and it's just a terrible experience all the way around. Dolphins won, he threw 3 touchdowns, so you can't say it was Fitztragic. The first half was Fitzmagic, the second half was Fitztragic, so in the middle, you get the plain old Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's what we got on Sunday against the Jets. So, yes, I believe that the best thing for the Dolphins to do, especially now that they're 3-3 and they may actually have a playoff push, because, newsflash, the Patriots actually have a worse record than the Dolphins do right now, so, opportunity knocks. So let's just wait and see what happens, and if Fitzpatrick can keep the team going, because I tell you what, this team follows Fitzpatrick to the T, to the letter. These guys go as he goes, so let's just see what keeps going and see what the Dolphins can do with Fitzpatrick as the starter. If things fall off a cliff, then sure, why not? Go ahead and throw Tua in there, because at that point, the team is not really fighting for anything, and other teams aren't going to be doing everything they can to knock the Dolphins out of playoff contention. There's no point in that. They'll kind of stay back a little bit, I think. Not necessarily guaranteed. I personally would just sit him down, period. But if there was ever a chance to let Tua play, you might as well do it when the season's not on the line. So that's my thoughts on that specifically. If Etienne, that's in reference to Travis Etienne of Clemson, if Etienne is there with the second pick in the first round, you take him. Also, can we please stop acting like Tua is some fragile baby? The man has been cleared to play. No other teams in any sport sits their cleared player because circumstances aren't perfect. Also, it's possible for rookies to come in, play, and look good. Why does Tua have to sit for a year or until he has a perfect circumstance like Alabama? If the babying continues, draft Sunshine in the next draft. Boy, that's a grim outlook on the whole thing, isn't it? So this is just another extension of exactly what I was saying earlier. The reason that the Dolphins can afford to sit Tua down, this isn't babying him. This isn't protecting him from the world, so to speak. This is the Miami Dolphins having the luxury of knowing that the 2020 season, if things don't go their way and the playoffs don't become a reality, then there's nothing really lost here, because this is part of the rebuilding process. This year is still about development. Are the Dolphins moving forward in every game? So far, it looks like that they are. We're seeing good things from Solomon Kinley, recently going through a little bit of a growing pain. Robert Hunt, same thing. Eric Flowers is looking pretty good. We haven't gotten to Austin Jackson yet because of that foot injury still, but that is coming back, and we will be able to see more growth from them. The thing with Tua is, again, this is the only thing. Yes, he has been cleared to play. Yes, he actually did play against the New York Jets. And already, there are comments everywhere from Dolphins fandom. I don't even have to find a comment for this. You just know that it's the truth because you watched it and you thought the same thing that I'm about to say. Oh, are they going to hit him? You saw the Jets coming after him on that rollout to the left where he threw it to Patrick Laird, and you thought, oh, is he going to get hurt? And then when he threw it to Jakeem Grant and he went, look, and you saw things going there, and it's like, okay, so are we good? Are we good? And then he handed it off, and he started looking for a block, and the whole Dolphins fandom, you could feel the butt cheeks clenching all over South Florida because it's like, he's going to get hurt. What are you doing? Don't do it. That's what I'm talking about. You have this, it's still the mentality. It's not just Tua that needs time to sit. We honestly, as Dolphins fans in general, need to get a chance to get used to the idea of Tua taking those lumps. That's why we need the training camp. That's why we need the preseason. It's not because we're scared that Tua's gonna, well, that's part of it. We are scared that Tua's gonna get hurt to some extent. But it's more about the fact that the Dolphins have the luxury of knowing that 2020 is not going to be a year where if they don't make the playoffs, it was a complete failure. 2021, the next season, is the season where we have high expectations for these guys. They have two first round draft picks coming, courtesy of the Houston Texans. They have two second round draft picks, also courtesy of the Houston Texans coming. And so with that in mind, you can afford to let Tua sit instead of having to throw him out into the fire and take all those lumps like Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are taking. Just because they're not playing right away does not mean they're going to turn out bad. Herbert and Burrow were thrown in out of necessity. Tua has the luxury, like a Patrick Mahomes did, of being able to sit and watch and wait and allow for his time to come naturally instead of him being thrust into the role. So it's not about babying him. It's just about we're taking a different route with him. And I think given his health status, whether he's been cleared to play or not, you have nothing to lose by letting him sit there. You have everything to gain, in fact, by letting him sit there, because every time he's watching and doing mental reps with Fitzpatrick, that's one less shot he's going to end up getting hurt. I know that the hips have said that he's cleared to play, but that doesn't mean you throw him out there to the wolves just because he says he's cleared to play. 2021 is the year to get expectations up. Right now, just let it go. It's okay. Be patient. I was recently asked who my favorite current player is, and I said Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yes, he has great games and he has bad games, but when you look at the entire person, he inspires others, never takes credit, and is the best mentor. He's a true leader. I agree. 100%. Ryan Fitzpatrick is the epitome of what you would look for in a mentor quarterback. I don't want to hear about Aaron Rodgers. I don't want to hear about Tom Brady. I don't want to hear about any of that. Ryan Fitzpatrick has not only proven to be a very exciting player when it all comes down to it. Normally old quarterbacks, they like hide and they don't want to take hits. Fitzpatrick just looks for hits when he's on the field. He plays hard. He's aggressive. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's when you get the Fitzmagic or the Fitztragic. If it works, terrific. If it doesn't, he looks like a fool. But that's the mentality you get when you have a gunslinger like Fitzpatrick. But the entire player, the entire human being that is Ryan Fitzpatrick, you watch this guy and you just see the joy on his face when he's playing football. It's infectious. You see him grinning at the players on the other side of the line when he's yelling out signals, trying to get them to jump off sides, and you just see him not able to keep a straight face. This is just an old guy having fun. And you know what? The whole team follows that passion. And that's why I feel like that's part of why they're doing so well, in spite of the fact that arguably you could say Tua is a better quarterback, but you just can't match that Fitzpatrick passion, man. He just loves football, and that caters into what's going on. That's part of the whole culture that Miami is establishing with Fitzpatrick. And the best part of it all, and I had mentioned this on my own Twitter not that long ago, Fitzpatrick right now is helping to establish the culture that Brian Flores wants for these Miami Dolphins. When Tua comes in, he's not going to be replacing it or changing it for any reason. He's just going to be building and adding to what's already been put into place. That's part of the mentor-student relationship that they have going. Fitzpatrick is not just teaching Tua, here's what you don't want to do, and please don't do what I did, throwing it into the middle of the field. There's a linebacker waiting to pick it off. He's not just learning that stuff. He's learning about what it means to be a leader in the next level up. There's no denying that Tua was a terrific leader in Alabama. But the NFL, whether you want to believe it or not, is a different beast altogether. And Fitzpatrick is showing Tua, this is what we need to do to have success, kid. Learn from it, because this is going to be your team. And he knows that, because when you saw him waving his arms up in the air, getting the crowd hyped up for Tua's emergence against the Jets, where do you can't get that sincerity anywhere else. This guy, as much as he wants to play and as much as he wants to start, he wants to see this kid do well. How many quarterbacks do you know who will willingly sit down on the bench and cheer on the backup quarterback? For all intents and purposes, Tua is the backup. Yes, he's the future of the franchise, but right now he's his backup. Fitzpatrick doesn't care, man. He's just having a great time, and he wants everybody to get up and yell because Tua is the future. Give him a big round of applause, everybody. There's no quarterback like that. I want Fitzpatrick to stick around for a good long time, quite honestly, just because of that alone. Yes, if you had to tell me who's my favorite player right now, good or bad, win or lose, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick. You just can't match that passion for the game. He makes it fun regardless of how the team is doing. Can you put a guy in the Ring of Honor for only 2 years as QB with mediocre numbers? I want Tua to play and think he should sooner than later, but this guy has done a dirty, mostly thankless job, and he has enjoyed every minute of it. Saved a mostly joyless 2019. Respect. And that, of course, is in reply to the tweet that I had made that I want Ryan Fitzpatrick to basically be the Udonis Haslem of the Miami Dolphins, so to speak. So, just a little background. Udonis Haslem, for all intents and purposes, he's not really on the roster to play anymore. He kind of lumbers. He's a little on the older side for NBA players. He's just kind of there to continue to establish the culture of the Miami Heat. And so, for the Dolphins, I would like to say at this point that that's Ryan Fitzpatrick. So, if Fitzpatrick is if he's willing to stick around in 2021 and beyond as Tua's backup, then I am signing that man to a contract right now. I'll even give him a little extra money just as a little thank you for doing everything that he's done. This team follows Fitzpatrick. I already said that in the last little segment here, but you know what? It bears repeating. This team follows Ryan Fitzpatrick so strongly, and when Tua comes in after he's established himself as the starting quarterback, that doesn't necessarily have to go away. If Fitzpatrick can be the player's coach or the emergency backup quarterback just because, listen, I'm an old guy and I just want to be able to play every once in a while, you know what? I am good with that. I want this man to stick around, and if he can't be a backup quarterback in 2021 and he decides, you know what, I want to retire, then don't even let him out of the building. Give him a new contract that says, you know what, here you go. You are now the QB coach if you want this job. Please take it. We want you to stay. I used to make fun of Ryan Fitzpatrick way back when he was on the Jets, and I thought to myself, you expect me to believe that Ryan Fitzpatrick is better than Ryan Tannehill? So I stick by that. Tannehill is better than Fitzpatrick. But you know what? I've had a lot more fun watching Ryan Fitzpatrick for these past 2 years than I did watching Tannehill. I'm sorry. If you're talking about who's better, then it's Tannehill. Who's more fun? That's a different discussion altogether. And Fitzpatrick, we can talk about the Harvard thing all day long. He's a genius. He is. And if I want anybody to be mentoring Tua as he takes the next step in his career and becomes the starter moving forward, if Tua ever has a bad game, you know who I want him to lean on when things go a little rough? None other than Ryan Fitzpatrick, because, oh boy, nobody knows better about what it means to go have a bad day than he does. So keep this man around. I don't care what kind of contract you have to offer him, whether it's as a backup quarterback or as a player's coach or as an assistant, a QB coach. I don't care. Keep him around, because I think he's going to do nothing but good things for this franchise if he gets to stick around. I'm surprised Adam Gase hasn't been fired yet. Maybe the Jets are smarter than I think and want to make sure he sticks around to get Trevor. This Adam Gase thing, man. I could spend the next 20 minutes talking about how much I've come to despise Adam Gase, not just as a coach, but pretty much as a human being. Like, you look at this man, he's arrogant, he's egotistical, he's defiant, he ticks off every player that's in his locker room, whether it's in Miami or it's in New York. It's amazing what a good word from Peyton Manning can do for you. Seriously, every time the Manning brothers or the Manning father or whoever, whatever, if your last name is Manning, all of a sudden, everybody listens to you because the Mannings are just NFL royalty, man. All it takes is one good word from Peyton Manning and he says, you know what, Adam Gase is really good. You should hire him. And teams are jumping at the bit to get him in there. And you would think that at this point, after a complete fiasco in Miami, where he essentially cursed out, I remember this report, that he cursed out Stephen Ross and said for him to get out of his way and that he knew what he was doing, and now he's doing, for all intents and purposes, he's doing the same thing with the New York Jets. We're laughing at the Jets now as Dolphins fans because we've already experienced it and we know that the Jets were really dumb to hire him. But I know a lot of Jets fans. I know there are a lot of them are really good friends of mine, and they're nice guys. And all I can think to myself is, like, I warned you guys. Didn't I warn you guys? I told you this was going to be a bad idea. They told me I was wrong because, no, it was just Tannehill. They need a better quarterback. Sam Darnold's going to do. Adam Gase has ruined Sam Darnold. I don't think Sam Darnold's ever going to be a good quarterback in this league, and it's all because of Adam Gase. And you see Jamal Adams, he demanded a trade, didn't want to be in New York. You saw now you're even getting reports that Frank Gore is sick and tired of the Jets flopping and completely falling on their face every single game. So now you have Frank Gore, who's tired of it. You got Jamal Adams, who is gone. Le'Veon Bell, essentially he wanted out. He went to social media to essentially say he wanted out. And Gase is just like, whatever, I wash my hands of it. You can't keep doing that. And nothing will make me more upset. Nothing will tick me off more than watching this man while the defense is there and he's sitting there on a bench all by himself with his little play sheet, wondering what it is that he's going to do next, as if we don't know! Sorry about that. Adam Gase just gets me fired up, man. He just does. It's painful to watch. And let's take this as a moment to give credit to Brian Flores, because the difference between him and Flores has been night and day. Give thanks, Dolphins fandom. You have found a coach who can actually keep his players and hold them accountable, actually make sure that they know that I'm on your side, guys, but we gotta do what I say and we gotta make this work. Somebody who actually knows how to establish a culture, because all of those things were things that Gase claimed to be able to do, and he has completely failed, unless you're saying that the culture is complete and utter chaos and toxicity, because if that's the case, then that's Adam Gase. Give credit to Brian Flores, because not only is he developing players want to come here and play for him. That's something we haven't had in Miami in a very, very long time. So, thank you, Brian Flores, for not being Adam Gase. So, sorry to you old Jets fans out there. Us Dolphins are going to move right along and move forward with Brian Flores as our head coach. So, enjoy Trevor Lawrence. If Gase sticks around, you're not going to be thinking Trevor Lawrence is all that special for very long. Fins fam, we are going to be playing meaningful November and highly likely December football. We have a good O-line and we haven't even unleashed the beast yet in Tua. I'm giddy. You know what, my friend? I am giddy too, and here is why. All those things that you just mentioned, the offensive line is developing, we haven't even used Tua yet, and already we're finding all this success. We're going to be having the opportunity to build up our roster even more with another free agency, with another draft of high quality players and top draft picks available. We're going to get, once again, 4 in the first 2 rounds. 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and by the way, the Texans are 1-5 as of this recording, so it may actually end up being top 10. Who knows? If they keep sucking up a storm like this, it might even be top 5. And if that's the case, then watch out, because the Dolphins have set themselves up for some really fun football in the future. So yes, be giddy, be excited, and regardless of how the outcome of this season is, know that things are looking up for the Dolphins. Be excited, because finally we have something to be excited about. Alright, so that's going to do it for this episode of the Pulse of Fins Nation. I am going to try to get this show out more than one time a week. I'm going to certainly more than one time every few months, because now that I actually have some more time to get this stuff done, more time to spend doing football stuff, I actually intend to get more active again in the Dolphins community, so to speak. Now, if you want to get active in the Dolphins community and you want to be part of this show and you want to have your comments featured and you want to have me react to the stuff that you say, then make sure to leave some comments down below and I'll be more than happy to use them the next time we do this show. And also, if you want to reach out on Twitter, you can either tweet right at me at LewisDSung, or you can actually use the now official Pulse of Fins Nation Twitter account. You just look up at Pulse Fins Nation and you'll be able to put out some tweets like that. I'll be making sure to use up that account as well, and I can find your comments there as well. So don't you worry, there's going to be plenty of stuff coming soon, and I will see you all next time for another episode of the Pulse of Fins Nation. Good night.